Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Thought it was comfortable, because I still had a ways to go. My update is a little bit late this week. It's just been a crazy week, and I've really been pushing myself because I had actually 7 cross stitches I'm trying to get finished for Christmas, and I think I'm going to get the 3 for my family finished. My friends may get theirs in January, but that's okay. So I hope the week has been good to you, that my U.S. friends, survived Thanksgiving well. We did, and we've got our Christmas tree up, and we're pretty much fully decorated, awaiting the grand arrival. This is always a fun time of year. We have a lot of baking and a lot of Christmas carol singing, and it really is a beautiful time of year. And as the older I get, the more I try to enjoy it. So when I get in the car, I put Christmas music on, and if I'm doing something in the house, I'll play Christmas music. I have to say I'm not really into Christmas movies as much this year. I think the odd romantic movie has gotten a little old. But that's okay. The Christmas classics are still good. So let me go on and we'll talk about stitching. Now I had 3 main pieces that I worked on. The one was that cross stitch that I'm doing for my brother, and I have to say that that's a finish. Yay! Well, I still have to put my initials and the date on it, but that's what that one looks like. It's all completed. I have to wash it and iron it, and I'm going to put it, I think, in an 8x10 frame and mat it to a 5x7. But that's on 14, oh, the dog knocked my footstool over this time, sorry. That's on a 14 count white Aida that I dyed myself. And I think this was ice dyeing. So I enjoyed that. That was actually kind of a mindless stitch. There was a lot of block color, and it was good. Easy to finish fast. And then I also did some work on my, let's see, maybe I'll go to the cross stitch I'm doing for my uncle who raises English Shepherds. I had inserted a picture of Rowdy, who was one of the dogs, now retired, that he used for breeding purposes. And she is a beautiful dog. I can't say enough about the English Shepherd. They are really a lovely dog. So let's see if I have a picture. I do. This is, I'll put this down over here. This is what the stitch will look like. I'll get the pattern out of the way. This is what the stitch will look like, and it shows it in a hoop. And I don't think I'm going to do all those flowers and everything. I'm pretty much just going to do the puppy and maybe the one flower. I'm not sure. And I think it has a bumblebee on it. And then I'm going to take that and use it as the cover to like a notepad. I think that that's something my uncle will appreciate. We're actually going over to his house this Saturday because he has a litter of puppies that are being picked up. So we go over when we can to help him because he's 82. He's getting kind of old to handle it all by himself. I went over this week to take all the puppies to the vets. And that was, let me tell you, I hate to say it. If you're sensitive, I'm sorry, but a truckload of puking puppies was no fun. Yuck. But anyway, that's done for this time. He has another dog who's delivering anytime this week. So, and Nessie is a good dog. She is one of my dog Rowdy's daughters. And she's a really good dog. So anyway, that picture, and this is all I have done on that, and it's mostly whites and different shades of gray. And I've kind of made it my own because I messed up a black code with a dark gray. So I will now work it the black and the gray, so it's going to be kind of my dog. Oh well. And last but not least, is Jim Shore's by Queen by Mill Hill, and it's the Queen of Hearts playing card. And she's been an interesting stitch too. I have to say that she's probably pretty much my own because the queen on the top and the bottom don't necessarily match, but that's okay. I've got more white beads to put on, and I have some blue beads to put on, and I think there may be some random stitches I have to go back and catch, but I'm not sure. As I'm getting further into the beading, it looks like I'll have beads to put in all these spaces. But this is what she looks like now. And she's actually really beautiful. I mean, with all her beaded glory. You can see I still have white to put in this collar, and then I have the sleeves on both sides to bead. So once I finish this white, I think all I have left are some blue beads, aqua colors, to put in the sleeves. And then she'll be finished. And I'll just have to put my initials on her and the date and get her washed and pressed and framed, and she'll be set to go to Florida with my expendables to my brother David and his wife Blanca. And I think that they'll like those gifts. Other than that, I don't have a lot going on. I haven't really made plans. I am going to, I belong to some other Facebook groups that aren't stitching related. I'm just trying to get something that's on the floor, sorry. And I've committed to a few things with those groups that will take some of my time. And once I finish my Queen of Hearts, I'm going to make some Christmas cards. I make cards for my family and close friends, and then I send regular cards out to a list of people. So I have to get started with that pretty soon. Usually I have all that done by now, so I'm really running late. So that is what I have planned there. Oh, and cross stitch finish line. The round robin groups have been put out by Joe, and I think I'm in a group of 6. So we're at the point where now we have to come up with what we would like to stitch and what we're going to stitch it on, and do our first piece on our own in preparation to mail it to our person in the rotation come the middle of January. So that'll be fun. I'm leaning at this point to maybe doing like a Christmas theme one. I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up. I'm really terrible at making these decisions. So I'm thinking Christmas, teacups or teapots, and birds. Don't know. I think Christmas might be a little easier for people to come up with their own patterns, because I would like people to pick the pattern that they would like to stitch in the area on the fabric. I don't know. And just doing it in DMC is fine with me, and if you want to add beads or whatever, that's fine too. But for me, I'm in it for the fun, the pleasure of having other people's work combined with my own to be framed and hung on my wall as a memory for me. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see, what else? I know that on the Heaven and Earth Designs Facebook group, I was reading today that for the Day of Giving, a whole bunch of people racked charts to other people. I missed out on that, but so that's a wonderful thing. So there's a lot of happy women out there with brand new Haid charts that were gifts. So that's great. And I know that there are ongoing sales and people gearing up for coming sales in December. And I plan on participating, I think, in this Stitch Mania group, some of those sales. I know there's a 12 Days of Christmas one that starts right around Christmas for the true 12 Days of Christmas. And let's see. I haven't worked on my Princess and the Unicorn. That's kind of taken a back seat. I do want to get back to that though, because I was enjoying that. And I have a Haid that I really want to get some stitches into. And that's my garden shed with all the cats in it. I think that's a beautiful stitch. Oh, and speaking of cats, that Queen Elizabeth, I can't even say it, but Heaven and Earth Designs has a Queen Elizabeth cat that has a mouse in her hand, her paws like this in front of her. I want that chart. That is the coolest chart. I sent that picture to my daughter yesterday saying, this is a cool chart. I think Ginger Gerald has that. I think he's the one. And there's a couple of other people who are stitching it, and it looks like a really good stitch. And I love cats. Cats and dogs. I actually love all animals. I know I've stitched a horse head for my daughter when she was younger because she was really into horses. So I've stitched several cats. And I know Gerald stitched used software and did a picture of his friend's cat Lily who had passed, and that is a gorgeous stitch. I might have to try that software. Let's see, what else? Oh, and I showed in my last video the Indian Maiden and the Warrior that I'm going to stitch early next year. And a couple of people have stitched it, and I've heard that there are corrections. There is a whole row of stitches right down the middle of the Indian Maiden. And if I remember, and I hope I do, I will add a link in the description box below to a page on Joan Elliott's website where she actually offers, if you send her an email, if you're planning on doing the pattern, if you have the pattern, she'll send you the corrections. But on that page on her site, there's other corrections for other patterns. So if you've been having a problem with any of her designs, you can follow that link and it'll tell you the changes, like where maybe a color had been named for the same of two different symbols, and things like that. But that was good. And let's see, and little snips. I think she was talking about the patterns too, about how the Indian Maiden is a pattern. Like Joan Elliott has standalone patterns that are available on like 1, 2, 3 stitch, but they're not the same pattern that I showed in the book that I intend to stitch. So in case you're wondering, they're not the same patterns. I think the Maiden on her standalone pattern is in a seated position, and this Indian Maiden is standing up. And she's beautiful stitched, much prettier than the picture. Let's see. I guess that's about all from me. Wally and Vixen and Kibbles and Rowdy are all doing well. All 5 of my cats are doing well. It's been a relatively quiet video, not a lot of outside sounds, so go them. So until next week, I hope that you have a very happy stitchy week. I'm going to be doing a lot of focusing on finishing so that I can get on to Christmas cards and journal making. So I hope that you have a very colorful, stitchy time. Thanks for joining me.